Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text 8. Ya evam santam atmanam
Ya evam santam atmanam
atmastam veda purushaha
atmastam veda purusha
najayate prakritisto api
najayate prakristho api
tatgune samai stitaha.
tadgune samai stitaha.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Although within the material nature, one who is thus situated in full knowledge of the Paramatma and Atma is never affected by the modes of material nature, for he is always situated in my transcendental loving service. So this is the position of the pure devotee. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in this material world, he is not affected by the modes of material nature. Similarly, those who are always connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though they may be within the material body or the material world, they are not affected by the material qualities. So again, we can give the example that when the president is visiting the prison, it's not that because he's a prisoner, he's just coming out of his own will. And the prison laws don't apply to him. He can come and go as he pleases. His dress also is not that of a prisoner. He does not wear a prison uniform. Similarly, the jailer who is appointed, the authorities who are appointed by the president, also, they are not prisoners. They are in the prison, but they are doing the work of the government. So the laws of the prison do not apply even to the jailer. No, yeah. So this is how we can understand that even though the pure devotee is within the material world, the modes of nature don't affect him. And of course, the modes they don't affect the Supreme Lord. That is explained very nicely in Bhagavad Gita 14:26. Mamcha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who is unflinchingly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord surpasses the material qualities and attains Brahman realization. Unflinchingly means constantly, means every moment, means he's already on the liberated platform. He attains Brahman realization. See here. Is the pure devotee. He does not think himself as the body. He's completely understood that he is part and parcel of Krishna. He's a spirit soul, and that's why he is acting. His activities are on the spiritual platform. So he's a Jivan Mukta. In this connection, Srila Rupa Goswami says that if a person is always engaged in the service of the Lord with his body, words, and mind, he is to be considered liberated, although living in the material world. So that is the verdict of all the authorities and also of Srila Rupa Goswami, that the pure devotee is liberated. Yasva dharmena mam nityam
Yaswadharmena nityam
nirashi shraddhayanvita
nirashi shraddhayanvita
bhajate shanakestasya
bhajate shanakestasya
manorajan prasidati.
manorajan prasidati.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu continued, My dear King Pṛthu, when one is situated in his occupational duty, engages in my loving service without motive for material gain, he gradually becomes very satisfied within. One who is situated in his occupational duty engages in my loving service without motive for material gain. Okay, this verse is also confirmed by the Viṣṇu Purana. Occupational duties are known as Varna, Sharma, Dharma and apply to the 4 divisions of material and spiritual life, namely Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and Brahmacharya, Grahast, Vanaprasth, and Sannyas. If one works according to the Varna Sharma Dharma system and does not desire further results, he gets satisfaction gradually. So this is the work, this is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, that engage in your duty, but don't get attached to the result. Discharging one's occupational duty as a means of rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of life. Bhagavad Gita confirms this as the process of Karma Yoga. This is what Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. That's the whole premise of the Bhagavad Gita, because Arjuna did not want to do his duty because it was painful. So many times we are also we are faced with so many situations where really doing the duty is so painful. But Krishna is saying, no, you still do it and do it for my satisfaction. And if we actually do it for the pleasure of Krishna, then we will see that we also get that satisfaction. We become satisfied by doing that. So, in other words, we should act only for the satisfaction and service of the Lord. Otherwise, we will be entangled by the resultant actions. Everyone is situated in his occupational duty, but the purpose of material occupations should not be material gain. You see, because the way the material world is designed, the way Krishna has designed this Varna Sharma Dharma, is what is it that by doing our duties, we can come to the point of realizing that, oh, I don't, this is not my permanent place. I need to go back home, back to Godhead. That's how Krishna has designed it. But what happens to us is we get greedy for the results of the actions that we perform. We are waiting, oh, when will I enjoy this? When will I enjoy this? And so then we are creating more and more lives for ourselves in the material world. Rather, everyone should offer the results of his occupational activities. A Brahmana especially should execute his occupational duties, not for material gain, but to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra should work in a similar way. In this material world, everyone is engaged in various professional and occupational duties. But the purpose of such activities should be to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, whatever work we do, each of us is differently engaged. Whatever we do, we should do it for the satisfaction of Krishna. Devotional service is very simple and anyone can adopt it. Let one remain what he is. He need only install the deity of the Supreme Lord in his house. The deity may be Radha, Krishna, or Lakshmi Narayan. There are many other forms of the Lord. In this way, a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra can worship the deity, with the results of his honest labor. So that for the Grahast, it's especially recommended deity worship. Worshipping the deity. Regardless of one's occupational duty, one should adopt the devotional means of hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, offering everything to the Lord, and engaging in His service. So it's not that we have to give up our homes, we have to give up our family, we have to give up doing our duty. No, we don't give up anything. We simply add Krishna to our life. We simply add hearing about Krishna, chanting Krishna's names, worshipping Krishna. In this way, one can very easily engage himself in the service of the Lord. When the Lord is pleased with one's service, one's mission in life is fulfilled. So we are working to please our senses. We are thinking, I will eat this, I will be happy. I will see this, I will be happy. We are forgetting that the goal of life is actually to please Krishna. We forget that. But that is the real position. Prema Pumartho Mahar, to revive our love for Krishna. Parityakta guna samya.
Parityakta guna samyak.
Darshano vishadashaya.
Darshano vishadashaya.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Shantim me samavasthanam.
Brahma kevalyam ashnute.
Brahma kevalyam
Shrute.
The heart is cleansed of all material contamination. The devotee's mind becomes broader and transparent, and he can see things equally. At that stage of life, there is peace, and one is situated equally with me as Satchid Ananda Vigraha. The Mayavad conception of Kaivalya and that of the Vaishnav community is different. The Mayavadi thinks that as soon as one is free from all material contamination, he is merged into the existence of the Supreme. The Vaishnava philosopher's conception of Kaivalya is different. He understands both his position and the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the uncontaminated condition, the living entity understands that he is the eternal servitor of the Supreme, and that is called Brahman realization, the spiritual perfection of the living entity. So the devotee, the Vaishnavas, they understand liberation or Brahman realization or the Brahma Bhuta platform means understanding Krishna's position as God and our own position that I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. I'm a servant of Krishna. And this is Brahma Bhuta platform, Brahman realization, understanding the Brahman, understanding the spirit soul and the Supreme Spirit. Not that I am going to become the Supreme Spirit. We cannot become something we are not. That's the point we have to understand. That's the point we have to realize, then otherwise it doesn't mean self-realization, no? Self-realization is realization, if we analyze the word, it means to understand the self in truth, to understand who am I truly. But if we are thinking I'm going to become something else, then how are we understanding who we truly are? Like if we apply logic, self-realization means understanding who I am truly. And that is Brahman realization. The true position of the living entity. Not that, oh, I become God, and that means then I'm working to become something. Then that does not become real self-realization. So this, but it's not going to happen. Nobody can become God. God is already God. Nobody can become God. So this rapper is very easily achieved, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. When one is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is immediately situated on the transcendental platform of Kaivalya or Brahman. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. And just now as we read, Mam Yo Vyabhicharina Bhakti Yogena Sevate, that one who is unflinchingly engaged in devotional service, pure devotional service, constantly engaged in devotional service. He is on the Brahman platform. He's already self-realized. Udasinam ivadhyaksham.
Udasinam
Adhyaksham.
Dravya jnana kriyatmanam.
Dravya jnana kriyatmanam.
Kutastam imam atmanam.
Kutastam imam atmanam.
Yo vedapnoti shobhanam.
Yo vidapnoti shobhanam.
Anyone who knows that this material body, made of the 5 gross elements, the sense organs, the working senses, and the mind, is simply supervised by the fixed soul, is eligible to be liberated from material bondage. This verse describes how one can become liberated from material bondage. So we are all looking, oh, how I can get liberated, how I can get liberated. The first point is that one must know that the soul is different from his body. The soul is called the Dehi, or the one who possesses the body, and the material body is called Deha, or the embodiment of the soul. Deha is the body, Deha, and Dehi is the soul. The body is changing at every moment, but the soul is fixed. Therefore, the soul is called Kutastham. So, fixed means unchangeable. The soul never changes. Why? Because the soul is eternal. If the soul was changing, then there is no meaning to the word eternal, right? But the body is constantly changing. Even the scientists say, the new cells are being born, the old cells are dying. Every moment it's happening. We can't see it. So that's why we don't realize it. But the body is temporary and the soul does not change. Why the soul does not change?
Because the soul is eternal.
Yes, thank you. That's right. The soul is eternal. The change of body is enacted by the reactions of the three modes of nature. One who has understood the fixed position of the soul should not be disturbed by the incoming and outgoing interactions of the modes of material nature in the form of happiness and distress. So it's all the modes. We just read a few days ago also. Everything is happening under the control of the modes of nature. Because the modes, they influence us so much and they drive us to do a certain activity. We are acting under the modes, sometimes we are in goodness, sometimes passion, sometimes ignorance. Same, these modes are driving us crazy. So that's what we have to understand, that it's the modes that are acting, not the soul. The spirit soul has nothing to do on the material platform. Of course, the desire is there. We are desiring, but then again, why are we desiring? Then because again, the illusion, we are thinking we are the body. That the false ego has already come in. But even Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, Ahankar vimudatma na kartaham ite manyate. What's that? The bewildered soul under the influence of three modes of material nature thinks himself to be the doer of activities, which in actuality are carried out by the three modes of material nature. So it's the modes, not the soul. But we don't understand that. And, we think, oh, it's me, I'm the body. So Krishna is saying, rise above the modes, rise above it. Not easy. It's not easy at all. We are very entangled. That's why we have been here since time immemorial, right? But then what do? We hear, we chant. That helps us to loosen, to gradually loosen this knot that we have. In Bhagavad Gita, also Lord Krishna recommends that since happiness and distress come and go due to the interaction of the modes of nature on the body, one should not be disturbed by such external movements. Even though one is sometimes absorbed in such external movements, he has to learn to tolerate them. The living entity should be always indifferent to the action and reaction of the external body. Why? Why is Krishna saying, rise above the modes, the happiness and distress will go on, tolerate it? Why is he saying all this? What happens is, because we really think we are the body.
Back.
I'm sorry. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Neha, you're saying something?
Yeah, I was just saying that because we are in the illusion, that's why he wants us to rise above this bodily concept.
Yes, we are in illusion, that's right. So what happens is we are in illusion, and then the mind, it makes us think that this is the reality, it's the truth. And we engage all our time, all our effort, energy in trying to solve whatever is happening. We are thinking of the past, why it happened, it shouldn't have happened like that. We are lamenting of the past. And then we are thinking of the future, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And like this, the mind just makes us crazy. And then what happens? It stops us from hearing and chanting about Krishna. So then our life just passes like that. And we are creating more and more reaction because we are thinking we are the body, the mind is disturbing us, then we will create more actions, more reactions, and we will continue to live here in the material world. So it's like a total distraction for us, stopping us to do the real thing that we need to do, which is to hear and chant and remember Krishna. Because the modes will make us act, whether we act or no, the modes will make us act. We should endeavor to remember Krishna, chant his name. We will think now, but what happens to us? We think, Are, whole day I'll chant or what? Whole day I'll remember or what? I have so much work to do. Who's going to do it? How is that going to happen? You know, who's going to do my work? But we don't realize the modes will make us work. It's not that we won't work. We are under the modes. They will make us work. Hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's the modes of nature that's also like, it's there, and also the mind. So both are like
Yes.
making us do things that sometimes we are not supposed to be doing, right?
Yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah. The modes work on the mind also, no?
Yeah. Okay. Right.
But the modes work on the mind, then with that, we are like, no, 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 I should do it. I need to act in this way. Yeah. And then it's like, we don't know where to stop then. Action, reaction, action, reaction. It's been going on since millions and millions of lives. And we don't know where to stop. So then we need to hear and chant. Gradually, this entanglement can become loose. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the body made of the gross physical elements, earth, water, fire, air, and sky, and the subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and ego, is completely different from the soul proper. One should therefore not be disturbed by the action and reaction of these 8 gross and subtle material elements. You see, because the mind, once it gets disturbed, our whole attention is on that. We are not able to focus that, oh, I need to hear and chant. Our whole endeavor is what's happening. Let me do it like this. Let me do it like that. That's what Krishna is saying. Don't be disturbed by the action and reaction of these 8 gross and subtle material elements. That will happen. It's not that we will stop working. No, it's not going to happen. The practical process is to attain the stage of indifference, is to execute devotional service. Only one who constantly engages in devotional service 24 hours a day can be indifferent to the action and reaction of the external body. When a man is absorbed in a particular thought, he does not hear or see any external activities, even though they are enacted in his presence. Similarly, those who are fully absorbed in devotional service do not care what is going on with the external body. That status is called samadhi. One who's actually situated in samadhi is understood to be a first class yogi. When sometimes we are so engrossed, I don't know if it's happened to you all. We are working on a file maybe, or something, or maybe we are cooking something. We shut out everything else that's happening around us. We are so focused on what we are doing. At that time, what happens? We are able to shut out everything, right? We are able to shut out the past, the present, the lamentation, the whatever. And we are just so focused on what we are doing right now. That's the of the pure devotee also. He's just completely engaged in thinking of Krishna. Completely engaged. Samadhi, mind is engaged, and Samadhi, of course, Krishna says that the best yogi, yoginam api sarvesham madgate antaratmana, that one who's always thinking of me within himself, that's the best yogi. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 47 or 49. Anyway, whichever is the last text of chapter 6. Are there any questions or comments?
Just one question. So this means that Lord Viṣṇu is telling Pṛthu Maharaj all this, right?
Yes.
He's instructing him.
Yes.
Okay.
Right then. So we'll stop
Very
here for
difficult.
today. Yeah, very
Very
difficult. Very difficult. I agree. Very
24
difficult. But we have to
hours,
start somewhere. Huh?
24 hours a day.
I know, right? You see, what happens is because we don't want to. 24 hours a day, we are thinking about Maya, na? Why? Because we are used to it, right?
Yeah.
But when we say that 24 hours a day, how will I think of Krishna? Not possible at all. Why? Because we have forgotten it. 24 hours a day, we are able to think of Maya because we are doing it since so many millions of lifetimes. If we think about it. So 24 hours a day, we are able to think that I'm the body, not the soul. But if we have to think, oh, I'm the soul, not the body, we are like, no, not possible, impossible. It's true, all of us are like that. But we have to begin somewhere. What to do? So we begin chanting, hearing, how much ever we can. And gradually, we will reach to this position. We will, because in the spiritual world, what we are going to do otherwise 24 hours a day? 24 is devotional service, no? Isn't it?
Yeah.
They said there's this beautiful saying about this that not saying, one of the gurus said, I'm forgetting the name, that we have given whole of our lives, like so many lives we have given thinking about Maya and doing things. So just this one life, if we could give to Krishna, just one. We have tried. Yeah. I'm just forgetting. Yeah. So they said that can't we just give this one life, only one life to Krishna?
Yeah. And we like, no, we can't. It's difficult.
No, we can't, because time is passing very quickly. The moments are passing just like that.
It's true. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
I know it's easy. It's not.
So, but what do we do? What do we do?
We still hear and chant. We try.
Exactly. Yes. We still hear and chant, and one day we will be able to do it. Just practice.
Because Krishna sees our intention, right?
Yeah. Krishna sees our intention. Krishna sees our endeavor, how much endeavor, the effort we are putting in. Krishna sees the sincerity. And then Krishna helps. We cannot do anything without Krishna's mercy.
Yes.
We simply have to put in the effort, the eagerness, and then Krishna helps. He makes the arrangements. So at our position, that's what, if suppose, like, for example, we are just in KG and we think, oh my God, I have to still reach PhD. Then we will not be able to do anything. That's the reason. Okay, I'm in KG, doesn't matter. I will read my ABC. I will do whatever I can do. So we hear and chant. Yes?
Yeah. Makes sense, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.